welcome to Blackfeather Guild. Before we go in and say hi to the cast and get started with the show, I wanted to talk very briefly about viewer actions and a little bit about sponsors. So first off, there's a number of ways that you can actually actively participate in the show through viewer actions. One of the easiest ways to do so is through retweeting the game tweet. You should see that somewhere in chat if it's not in there already. But you just click on that link and hit retweet, and for every 5 retweets that we get on that, it will add a bonus to the cast pool and the game master pool. Now, in most cases, that's going to be an extra d6 that they can add on to any roll. Basically, a great way to use that is if a player is almost meeting a DC, but they're just not quite there, they can grab one of those d6s from the cast pool, roll that, and then add that to their roll. Basically, is how that works. Same with the GM. So that's one of the easiest ways that you can participate that way. Another way is through guild coins. That's our Twitch channel points. If you look at the rainbow colored icon, it should have the Blackfeather Guild crest on it. It should be right below your Twitch chat box. If you click on that, it'll show you all the different things that you can get with those. The biggest one being plot points. Now, plot points, you can see an example right over here. They all work pretty much the same way. It's just a matter of how big of an impact they have. So for the example, when we've got 2 plot points, the player of your choice gets something moderately helpful or unhelpful. Enter any suggestions for the GM into chat, or you can have the GM come up with something entirely on their own. So just choose if you want it to be helpful or unhelpful to the party, and that's kind of how you can use them. You can throw in your own suggestions as well. How those work: 1 plot point is something trivially helpful or unhelpful. 2 is moderately, 3 is very, and 4 is very to the entire party. So if you want to do something to help the entire party or really throw a monkey wrench in their plans, 4 plot points will do that. So that's guild coins. And then finally, we've got donations. So if you want to help out with keeping the lights on in the place, so to speak, there's a number of ways that you can financially contribute. One of those being coffee.com/Raven or Raven.rocks. You can see both of those examples down there at the bottom. Those are the addresses to do direct donations. You can also do Twitch subscriptions or bits. Those work the same way. And then finally, Patreon. We've got a Patreon, which you should see in chat here any second if it's not there already. And our Bard tier patrons and higher get credits towards viewer actions every month that they can use on any show that they would like. You just have to let us know in chat how you want to spend those, and then we'll hand those out. So some very cool stuff. Before we hop over to see the cast, one last thing to mention is a couple things on this chart here. We've already covered the D6 and the plot points, but the triple crits, what that means is you can gift auto critical successes. And you can, it's triple because you get 3. You can divvy those out however you'd like. You can do 2 to the cast, 1 to the game master, all of them to the game master, however you want to do it. So they work much like the D6s. The cast members just grab that when they're available and they really need them and use them. So it's pretty cool. And then finally, the last one, introduce an ally or enemy NPC. Just give us a brief description of what you want this character to look like, kind of their character concept and a name, and let us know if you want it to be an enemy or an ally to the party, and the GM will basically take that and run with it. So really cool ways that you can participate. Lastly, I just want to take a quick moment to mention our sponsors. If you look at the logos down below, that's who's sponsoring this episode, and we'll talk a little bit about that before we introduce everybody as well on the next scene. So yeah, check all this stuff out and thank them for supporting us, and thank you for being here and watching. Let's go say hi to the cast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode. In some ways, a conclusion, and in some ways, a new beginning of La Famille Boucherie, our dark little excursion into the vampiric underworld of Nowlands. So, before we begin, and before I introduce my lovely cast, just a little bit of a heads up. Darkness lies ahead. La Famille Boucherie is a program that embraces the night, the darkness within it, alongside the darkness within each of us. As such, this game may feature content that is troubling or triggering to some viewers. If you're sensitive to topics such as homelessness, drug use, blood play, violence against innocence, torture, gaslighting or manipulation, thievery, body horror, or other monstrous things that may arise during play, please proceed with caution. Otherwise, we invite you to share our story and bask in that which makes us human and that which brings out the inner beast in us all. Laissez le bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll. So, we are going to go through and introduce our lovely cast and let them remind you who they are, who they'll be playing, and where you can find them. And then we'll get on with our story. So, Tawny, why don't you start? Our cameraless wonder.
Yeah, my computer, it's broken. Yeah, on Twitch here, I'm Manic Pixie Horse Girl. It's the same on Twitter. I check neither regularly, so don't at me. I play Maeve, and yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Okay.
New Jersey or bust.
New Jersey or bust. Michael.
Hello there, I'm Michael. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch under Michael Wayne. You give me a clip, I'll give you a GIF. I will playing for a moment, Tabitha, and maybe after the moment there'll be something more. But that's what happens when you're a candle in the night. Burns so brightly that you must be snuffed out.
Burning the candle at both ends there, Tabitha. All right, and Nat.
Hi, I'm Nat. I play / did play / playing for a bit longer. Mikey, sneaky Nosferatu. I'm a bit of a internet hermit. I'm a bit of a lurker, so I'm around in the Discord, but you won't really find me anywhere else.
All right, and not at the moment, but after the break, we're going to be bringing in a new character with a regular player here on the Black Feather Guild. Kat, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to us?
Hi, I'm Kat. I'm usually playing on Mondays, playing Empires and Epitaphs, which is in the D&D 5e thing, and also Fridays I play Where Things Go South as Monsters of the Week, and I'm starting a new character here today in this new game, new to me game that I've never played before, and yeah. You can find me at Cat Named Schrodinger or Cat and Schrodinger in most places. And yeah, I'm going to be playing a character that I just named 2 seconds ago, Sinatra.
Oh, lovely. All right, and I am Zan. I am a content creator and professional DM for Dungeons and Dragons, The Game from Beneath the Sea, Monster of the Week, Vampire, and a whole host of other games. If you need me, you can find me on my business website, insanitygaming.com, or at my Twitter handle below, at insanityttrpg, where I am always lurking and posting about whatever game it is that I'm involved in. So let's hop back into our game, shall we? Where we left off last time, after a heated debate about what to do regarding Jet's touchstone Jesse, who knew a little too much about the masquerade. The plan seemed to be to let him go at the airport and get him out of town. However, there was some dissension amongst the party as Mikey swiftly became invisible, battling their hunger, and rushed in and drug Jesse into a bathroom in the New Orleans International Airport and put a bullet squarely into his skull. When Jesse came in and saw the scene before him, when Jet came in to see the scene before him, he frenzied, as one is like to do after they, oh haha, Raven, oh haha, as one is wont to do, he frenzied and began to
try to save his friend from death with an embrace. That we will see the results of later. Tabitha ran to try to help, and then when she heard gunshots, bolted into the night. Is that right, Tabitha?
No, she just bolted. It
Okay.
did not go towards like roughly first bullet shot that in the car. She just bolted the hell. She cheesed it.
All right. And Maeve was left behind the wheel of the car, wondering what to do next. So let's wrap up the scenes from the night, and then we'll move on to the repercussions in the following nights. You see, we're going to start with Maeve here. Maeve, you are in the parking lot. The sound of gunshots still ringing in your ear. What do you do?
Yeah, I distinctly just turned my head forward, put the car in drive, and started rolling out of the pickup drop-off area, essentially.
Okay. Where are you going?
I am... I think I'm going to risk going back to my haven and getting the U-Haul. And then I'm going to get the U-Haul and just start driving towards New Jersey.
Okay. That's a powerfully long haul.
Yeah.
But I think as you go to get inside of the U-Haul, you see a sharply dressed, pale-skinned gentleman, a driver's cap and mirrored glasses resting on his nose,
Uh-huh.
wearing a gray suit.
Yep.
One who you saw
I
drive
know.
you down here.
Drive
He
us
smiles
down?
to you. Or he drove
From-
you to the prince's.
Yeah.
And he smiles to you.
Hello.
It's good to see you again. Glad nothing unfortunate has befallen you.
Uh-huh.
So it seems
Not-
like you've had quite a night.
Yeah, it has, it's not going to go into the books as one of my better ones if I make it through to the next one.
Understandable. Understandable. Would you like a hand?
With what exactly?
Getting back home. I don't think this is the city you're meant to be in.
I don't know if I can even get there after the prince's blood bonding deal. I already lost my original coterie mate that I came here with. I'm pretty sure at least 2 more of the ones that I made down here are going to die. I'm damn sure willing to stay and try to help out, but this problem is far worse than I think any of us thought it was going to be.
And he looks at you, contemplates for a moment, says, well, I think maybe there have been too many weeds planted in this garden.
I think far more organization is needed. put a group of new people together and don't really put anybody in charge, and shit tends to go sideways.
And he laughs hardly, and you can see his sharply pointed teeth. And he goes, "Well, you're not wrong there. The leadership here does leave quite a little bit to be desired. But do you have any investment left in the city?"
I can go whenever. I just don't want to fuck up the political connections that got me here.
And he nods his kind of tilts his head behind you, and you see a kind, vacant, glassy eyes, a woman in her probably mid-30s, just kind of staring. And he goes, "She'll take you where you need to go if you want to leave."
Again, I don't want repercussions for my sire or the principality that I work for. I appreciate the help. I just want to make sure I'm not stepping on too many toes if I just go.
I think you're a problem the city would rather leave behind, if you don't mind me being blunt.
That's fair. I'm gonna go.
Go ahead and hop in the back. She'll
Sorry
drive you.
we couldn't do better.
Well, you're still young. You've got a long night ahead of you.
All right. I get in the back of the U-Haul.
And you hear the engine rev, the U-Haul lurches, and begins to drive. Mikey, you are in a bathroom stall and see a Jet leaned over, drinking deeply from the neck of his former friend. What do you do?
Mikey is going to watch and see what Jet does, because he does not want to get in the way of Jet right now.
Jet is thoroughly engrossed in feeding.
Okay. Mikey will probably then, with Unseen Passage still up, I believe, would chance a look outside and see what was going on.
You see people bustling and security starting to make their way in.
Okay. Yeah, he's going to try and leave by the most covert way he could see.
All right, go ahead and, just for funsies, make a dexterity and larceny check for me. Or dexterity and stealth, sorry.
Okay. Dexterity.
All right. Ooh, you got so you are a hungry little vampire.
I am.
But yeah, you make your way outside of the bathroom and feel confident that you haven't been seen.
Okay.
What do you
cool.
do? You make your way outside.
Yeah, I'm getting out of here. The hell out of here.
The car is no longer there.
That's fine. Mikey will want to go back to his haven. He's not really got any interest in catching up with anyone. He would probably go to his haven and message his sire and just say something like, it's all gone to fuck, over a text, and just see what his sire says in response.
You get a short message back. Cleanup crew.
I think I got it handled, but I don't really have a coder anymore. They were fuck ups.
And you just get an ellipses back, and then shit. And then a few seconds later, another message. Stay near your phone.
All right.
And yeah, we're gonna move over to Tabitha. What is Tabitha doing running into the night?
I'm thinking it's one of those things where, like, the fact that they were just so focused on getting the hell out of there, it's almost as though just like focusing so much on that, it probably for the first time actually blinks, just kind of like moving in a straight line for like 50 meters and not really aware of this, like just notice she does that freaks them out a bit and looks for probably like the nearest like motorcycle or car to hopefully just get in that and hopefully drive to the night pulse, I think was the
Yeah,
place.
Pulse of the Night. Yeah.
Yeah, to essentially get the last cigarette before their death, because they really did not expect things to go that badly, but it just like figures like after this, there's not going to be any more Tabitha, so try to wrap things up.
Okay. Go ahead and make a wits and larceny roll to try to hotwire something.
Okay. Click larceny first, correct?
Click larceny first, and then go to wits. No modifiers. Okay, 3 successes will do it. What do you hotwire?
Just because I feel like it'd be very similar to a lot of vampire movies, just like a very black, sleek motorcycle. Oh, and it's kind of like rush through the dark, like almost like there's a very sadness to the movements as they just go forward, focused on their destination, racing towards some peace.
All right. So you make your way to the Pulse of the Night, and as you make your way in, the security guard nods as you pass, and you see Miranda Sanders, the owner of this establishment,
Before
leaned against the bar.
Before getting past, the security guard just goes like with a small little kiss, blows to them before going forward.
Okay.
And then probably just goes up to the bar near Miranda is like, is there someplace I can talk privately with you?
Of course, I always have a VIP open for those that I owe boons. She takes you to a one of the isolated enclosed VIP booths.
I don't know how bad this is, but the shit hit the fan. Excuse my French, ma'am. But I don't know how much more. If like I'm even going to be around too much longer.
Well, I'm sure you're just overreacting. Is there anything that I can get you to help you relax a little bit?
It's an old vice, but is there any chance that have a bit of blood with cocaine in it?
Of course. Anything for you.
And I know this may be a little too much to call in a favor for a boon, but my intern, odds are I probably will come looking here to find out. Do you mind just helping them out, taking care of, so that they don't have to deal with whatever comes my way.
Or I can try to look after your ward if things are going to go as badly as you suspect.
I expect the worst. It looks as though the whole thing seemed to be someone after the prince or my lady or someone has a seat at the table. I nothing looks like it's coming your way, but it looks primarily towards the prince or the lady, and I've done my best, but I do not think my best is enough.
Well, cheers to your best efforts. And she leaves and returns with a fresh, what appears to be glass of red wine.
She takes kind of like a small sip and just like probably just like there's kind of like a quiet silence before like finishing the drink, and then I think I'm gonna have to try to see if like last connection works out well or not. But if you do not hear of me, do not mourn. Hopefully,
I'm in the business of celebration, not mourning.
oh, again, I hope like you do well, and hopefully Luigi and Olga, they help you out across the way, and that is helpful in your business.
Thank you so much for your kindness.
Ah, thank you. And probably like I'm guessing like if like they had brought like a small little like container or something probably to take with them, expecting kind of like takes that with them, and they probably would just on that motorcycle drive for a bit before finding like some like hardware store or something that's just about to close, and
As
about
you get ready to leave, you stand up and your knees buckle. And there's a warm feeling in your stomach. It's relaxing and it's calming, but it's not cocaine. And she smiles to you and goes, "Thanks for making this a little bit easier on yourself." And your eyes flutter shut. So we're gonna hop back over to Maeve. Maeve, after some 20 hours, maybe a little bit longer, you feel the vehicle come to a rest. What do you do?
I wait in the back to see what the fuck's gonna happen.
You hear the driver's door open and close.
I kind of, I don't know, take a bit of a defensive position. Feel like Maeve's thoughts have been running circles around her head the entire time.
Nothing happens.
Okay, I will chance pulling up the door.
Okay. You see that you are in front of your sire's haven. The driver nowhere to be seen.
Okay then. I guess I knock on the door.
And a familiar face greets you. What does your sire look like?
He has like a odd cowboy aesthetic that Maeve finds strangely endearing. He's not that tall. He's maybe like 5'8". And he has dark hair and like piercing blue eyes.
Okay. And he looks at you. His eyes are soft. He says, "Welcome home, child. I hear you've had a rough go."
Yeah. Lydia's gone. I tore somebody's throat out in a nightclub. After getting shot with some sort of phosphorescent bullshit in my gut. I don't know if our principality has a connection to the New Orleans principality anymore. I think that went about as bad as it could go.
Well, there's always a moon behind those dark clouds. Come inside. And he beckons you to follow him inside.
Yeah, I follow him. I'm still just expecting the axe at any moment.
And inside his haven, you see a figure that you've seen in paintings and photographs, but have not had any interactions with in person. An older Nosferatu. His skin sunken and clinging tightly to the bones on his face. The entire lower part of his jaw exposed, though clothed in fine Italian silks. He looks to you and goes, "Well, it seems like you've earned your place in the city, Mav. Are you a loyal servant of mine?" And you are now certain this is the prince.
I just sort of get on my knees in front of the prince and just stare at the floor.
And you hear a clatter in front of you. And resting in front of you is a woven copper ring with an amethyst stone in it.
I pick it up and attempt to hand it back to him.
And he says,
put it on his hand.
No, that's for you. My servants require proof of loyalty, and you have been loyal indeed. And I hope you will continue to be so. Now tell me everything you know of the city of New Orleans.
I don't deserve such an honor, but I will tell you what I know and try to live up to your expectations.
Good, child. Good. And the camera's going to pan out as Maeve spills all of the secrets that she's learned of the city of New Orleans, who the prince trusts, how the city is laid out, who the current situation of the city, and the last thing we see is kind of the yellowed fangs of the Nosferatu smiling. And then the camera's going to cut away into a well-decorated room, one that we've seen before. A parlor off of a dining room where the party met for the first time. Standing in this room are a few familiar faces. We see Miranda Graves, the scourge of the city. We see Father Iago, well dressed in his black suit, hair slicked back with the where his bangs would fall, shifting to salt and pepper, a sharp contrast to the rest of his dark hair. And we see the prince, Sir Marcel, in an overstuffed throne, saber across his lap. And in the corner, we see two Nosferatus, Mikey and his sire, standing, both with green, deep green capes put around their shoulders, a mark of status. We see, sitting on the other corner of the room, a early 30s woman, impeccably dressed, looking as though she was born to be royalty, commanding the entire presence, though she does not sit in the center of the room. And at her right hand, a youth, a young woman, maybe 18 years old, who looks drunk on confidence, but still slightly unaware of what's going on around her. And a figure is brought forward, beaten, bloodied, torn cassock around their neck, and torn black shirt, dress pants, no shoes to be seen. As Pastor Joseph, or what remains of him, is pushed to the ground. Sir Marcel says, "You scum, you have defiled my kingdom. You have worked with the enemy, and for your sins, your death will not be quick." And we see Pastor Joseph's face for the first time, sunken in, gaunt, pale, jaw broken, nose swollen, missing an eye, as he snarls and tries to spit an insult out of his broken jaw to no avail. He tries to spit at the prince, but doesn't have the energy to expend. Prince shakes his head, says, you disappoint me. I thought you were strong enough to resist the temptation." He looks to Eliza, says, "Miss Graves, chain him to the roof. Let the sun kiss him one last time before he goes where he is deserved." And he's led away, resisting but without the strength to actively do anything. And we hear howling from the roof. And then we see a second figure brought forward. Nice clothes on their back, much more slender than Father Graves. A black bag over their head. And Father Iago steps forward and pulls the covering from the face of Tabitha.
You know, you could just clean the bag. You don't have to use the same bag every time.
Father Yago smiles. You know, it's a real shame we couldn't put that fire to use.
How was it not abuse? I did my best. I'm no leader. I helped the group when I could. Shit hit the fan. I did whatever I was trained to do to get the hell out of Dodge. I'm no leader.
That
Did my
much is clear.
best.
But you're not here on my behalf. And the lady clears her throat. Tabitha. Oh, Tabitha. You've made life a little difficult for me.
And like you see kind of like just broken just by that expression. Like that's most mortal wound like she's ever felt. Just like on that. How? How?
You used my name too flippantly. You made yourself too widely known. You had your hand in too many pots. And I'm afraid some of those pots, it seems, were filled with serpents. And for your crimes,
What crimes?
her face hardens a little bit. You drug my reputation through the mud with your antics.
I have not done anything poorly. I've done it in the best scare.
And the spectacle that you forced this one, she looks to Talon at her left-hand side, to create on television, giving her your jacket.
It was the only way out that could at least give plausible deniability so that it not look like it was a case of the masquerade. That it looked like it was a human's problem rather than anything more. It's the best I could do in short terms when whole place is shot up by someone trying to kill vampires. One of our own.
Well, I know how much this one meant to you. And she kind of caresses Talon's cheek. And says, unfortunately, due to my status within the city, I'm only allowed one child. I'm only allowed one to carry on my reputation. And I'm
Well-
just struggling to see if you're worth the investment or not.
Well, if it has to be one, I'm more than willing to fight for you. Fight my best friend for you. Kill her for you. If that's what it means.
I'm afraid that's not my decision to make. And the prince looks over to Mikey. Goes, now, loyal servant, would you say this one is deserving of a second chance?
Mikey looks incredibly uncomfortable being called forward like this and shuffles on his feet a little bit and says, she didn't completely fuck up, you know? Maybe she deserves a shot. And then he's going to shrink back into the corner and wish he'd never spoken.
And the prince looks to you and goes, plead your case.
What more do you want me to do? I've done what I've done to the best of my abilities. I made sure to increase my ladies' control and their worth while helping you. to try to weed out. I've tried my best to serve both of you, even though it's quite clear I had no interest in wanting to help the prince, only the lady, yet I still helped both, doing my best. And again, I am not the best there is. Yeah. I'm trying my best. I am to help others fulfill their vision. I have no vision of my own. But if you're wanting to get rid of me, at least give me a fight. So I can at least go out with at least some effort of trying. Makes no sense just have no spectacle if all you're going to do is just kill me here, all in there. What? What else
Make
can I...
make a manipulation and persuasion roll for me. This is probably going to be 4 successes.
Okay, can I use 3?
You can use 1.
Okay,
Let's
I was just
use
trying to make it at least look manipulation and persuasion, correct?
Yeah. So if you're willing to use one of the pools of success that we have,
well, we got a whole lot of crits. Like I figured, like it
Yeah.
at least make it more entertaining. Like I still have a chance of failure.
You can use the crit to get a 1 additional success, so you can drop the number needed down to 3.
Okay. That was persuasion with wits.
Persuasion with manipulation.
Okay. 1 modifier, correct?
No modifier.
Okay.
3. All right, that's what you needed. Prince sits for a second. Lady. You notice he doesn't call her the lady, only lady. Let's see which of your progeny deserves our respect. He gestures towards the recently returned Madame Graves. And she produces 2 silver sabers. And Talon is hesitant to step forward. But when she makes eye contact with the lady, you hear a soft murmur come from the lady's lips. And that little bit of power that you know accompanies the discipline dominate. You see her walk out and pick up the saber.
Just want to... Does it have to be the saber? Because I do have some of my own. Just for clarification. I can go with the saber.
This will make things quicker.
Okay. And then just more than willingly picks up the saber and just kind of like takes a fencing stance.
Okay. Go ahead and make a dexterity and melee roll. And I'm gonna make one as well.
Any modifiers?
There would be.
She's trying to make this very like dancey, like footwork.
I don't think a modifier would apply on this, but you could still use any of the successes or any of the dice that you have left over.
Yeah, let's get another one in here. Let's get
right.
People paid for them. We should use them.
Are you gonna use an automatic success?
1 in there, but just to lower the difficulty. But
yeah. Okay, so that you have 1 success before you roll, and go ahead and make your dice roll, and I will make mine.
Ooh!
Oh, you needed that 1 success. You the first round goes by, and you it's pretty neck and neck, but it seems as though Talon still hasn't gotten used to her speed as a vampire yet, and you get a solid wound in her leg. Blood is drawn, and she looks to you with fierceness and hatred in her eyes that you've never seen before. Let's get that roll again.
Can I make, because I know like both rapid, like celerity would apply.
Celerity,
Can I
yeah.
make, because I think rapid reflex, fleetness, and blink all could apply in this.
I know
With a
rapid
rouse
reflexes in particular does not apply to combat.
Okay.
Um,
So, dang it, I clicked the
you
wrong
need to be-
thing.
Well, no, that's a rouse check. That's hunger. But I'll give you an extra dice on your. How many dots do you have in celerity?
3.
Okay, I'll give you an extra 3 dice on your next roll then.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead and make that roll again. Yeah, and after another quick sparring match, your celerity leaves Talon pretty well in the dust, and you slice deep across their belly, and she's looking real rough, and you are yet to be harmed.
I'm sorry, Talon, but it is what the lady wishes.
One more roll.
Okay, do you want me to make another rouse?
No, a rouse lasts for a full scene, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna make you make another rouse. Oh no.
Oh my god! That's 7 crits!
Yeah, so go ahead and describe to me how the combat ends.
I think it's very much like that, very much of a dance of just mixing every move, like missing, but it's like small little slash, very matador of avoiding the ball, making this very slashy, and then at the very last moment it said, "I'm sorry, but this is for the lady," before having that final slash go in. And like, as kind of like there's a little bit of blood that hits her face, and it looks like bloody tears on Tabitha's eye.
Yeah, and Talon sinks to her knees. She begins to speak, but ash falls from her mouth. And then the hole in her chest begins to burn as ash falls. And soon there is nothing before you except your old jacket lying on the ground.
Right before like Tabitha like brings it up right to her throat, the near mouth, and like there's a little bit of burns. If you want me dead, you only need to give the command, lady.
I think you've proved your dedication. Come here, child.
And she does, and kind of like with a curtsy before doing so.
And she hugs you. And it's a warm, gentle hug. And as she breaks away, she says, "But one thing, never fail me again." And there is burning hot pain as she claws across your face. Blood splatters onto the ground. And you're left standing there. She says, "Not a word. Don't disappoint me again. I expect a return on my investments."
Tabitha, quiet, but like knows like they will at least have at least a little bit of return just from the night pulse, if nothing more.
Yeah. And the prince turns back to Mikey. Does that seem like fitting judgment? Do you think they are safe to walk my city?
I think the crazy ones learned her lesson.
Very well.
Like, roughly you do see in the eyes, just oh, I'm still the crazy one.
And finally, two more figures are brought forward. One scared and terrified. The other quiet and broken. You can hear the sound of Jesse sobbing from behind the mask as they pull the hood off, showing blood-stained tears running down his face. Utter confusion. And Jet looks silently at the ground. And Jet looks to Jesse, says, I told you you weren't going to see the sun again. And as the words leave his mouth, Miranda is in front of them. And you see both their heads topple and land on the ground as they quickly turn to ash. And the prince claps his hands. Well, I think this little problem has been taken care of, and we need not ever discuss it again. Thank everyone for your attendance tonight, and have a lovely evening. Some of you I hope to never see again.
Tabitha just mouthing without saying a word. Yes.
Mikey will just shuffle after his sire, possibly dare to nod at the prince.
Yep. All right. And that's where that scene is going to close and where we're going to take our break. So yeah, sorry if that got a little bit heavy there, y'all. We kind of needed to wrap up that storyline just a little bit, because that had been kind of weighing on my mind a little bit, and yeah. I think things got a little real, and we'll see the party's new faces when we come back from our break in about 5 or 10 minutes. So yeah, hang out, and we'll be right back. Raven, can you take us to the break screen? Oh God, I can't keep smiling like this. I'm gonna die.
Confused.
No? Is there no Raven?
Raven's gone.
Oh no, Raven. Oh no. Cacaw. Very much cacaw. So in recap, then until Raven gets back to take us to break, Maeve has sold out the city of New Orleans. Mikey has, if anything, benefited from their loyalty at being a Camarilla good boy. And Tabitha, much to my surprise, has made it out of the situation. I was very much expecting to kill Tabitha.
I was expecting to die, but that's Tabitha.
Yeah, that's just how things work. Oh wait, maybe I don't know if people can still hear it. If people actually heard any of that, because I think some of y'all might be muted on the Zoom end. Oh man. Okay, so yeah, y'all, we're gonna walk away from our computers now to take care of bio things that the still living have to do, and hopefully Raven will take us to the break screen when she gets back. So until then, just look at our lovely faces or where our computers are, and we're going to silently creep away. And hope that no one notices and no one investigates our room. Yeah, just slowly creep away. Just creep away, Natalie. Creep away.
Oh, remember, question. Like, if you guys got a question so we can answer it at the end of the episode, feel free to put them in chat.
Excellent. All right. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us through that break. We are now ready to continue with the a new leg of this journey of La Famille Boucher. Before we get back into it, just a little reminder to everybody that Darkness Lies Ahead. La Famille Boucher is a program that embraces the night, the darkness within it, alongside the darkness within each of us. As such, this game may feature content that is troubling or triggering to some viewers. If you are sensitive to topics such as homelessness, drug use, blood play, violence against innocence, manipulation or gaslighting, thievery, body horror, or other monstrous themes that may arise during play, please proceed with caution. Otherwise, we invite you to share our story and bask in that which makes us human and which brings out the inner beast in us all. Les éléments brûlés, les éléments brûlés. Let the good times roll. That will be where we wrap up the first little arc of our game, and now the camera is going to pan to a crypt, a mausoleum in the St. Louis Number 2 Cemetery, and we see a handful of vampires, some wounded, some winded. After a recent skirmish with Miss Miranda Graves, the scourge of the city, and a pack of exterminators. All of you having escaped with your lives, though some leadership has been lost. Let's go through and introduce our characters. Let's tell everyone, go ahead and give us a description of your new character and maybe a little bit about them. And this time we're going to start with Nat.
Hello, I'm Nat. So in this new little side adventure, I will be playing Amira Fontaine. Amira is of Asian descent. She is probably physically looks around 38 kind of age. She normally wears formal wear. She is very much a lawyer, a very uptight, snobbish person, really. Born into privilege, doesn't have any time for anyone, not worthy, basically. She is a member of the ministry. So yeah, which is a family I haven't seen before in the stream. Apart from NPCs.
Yeah, apart from NPCs. And staying with that same bloodline, let's go over to Tawny now.
Hello. I'll be playing a character named Terrence Schaffer, and he is on the small side, maybe 5'4", with gray unkempt hair. It's a tendency to wear like Bermuda style clothing, complete with hat, and has like round spectacles, and gets really sidetracked by anything Egyptian. He's essentially a giant nerd from like a century ago.
And Michael Wayne, who are you playing now?
Well, I will be now playing Junkyard Joe. Ventura, like, very much into the gangster, lots of guns, gonna here as kind of like the muscle of the group to kind of help them exit the situation.
Yeah, I think we see you with a nasty little chest wound, something that would have probably pierced a lung in somebody that was still breathing. But I think we see you with a like having recently taken your Kevlar off and thrown it to the ground, not being much use anymore. What does Junkyard Joe look like?
For the most part, like before they actually took off like the Kevlar vest, they look very big contrast in that very black, very sleek, almost like pinstripe kind of like suit on them. with underneath they had kind of like a very thin little white shirt with a lot of little like chainmail like essentially in there, and the wound kind of like they just cleaned out, like was small enough like it got through and punctured the wound, but it was just too small to get through like the chainmail, so it gave no protection. But most of the part, that's like just more aesthetic. That he's always got at least some bit of chain on him, with like big cargo pants, and most notably, always has like this like big like giant bag that he's always had wrapped around him. Has something special in that none of the party has seen yet.
Okay. And our new cast member, Kat. Who are you playing?
So I'm playing Sinatra. They are probably like a tall, gender-neutral kind of looking person who, the way I'm going to describe this person is they're like still waters on the top and like volcanic vents inside. Like, so if you just look at them, they look really smooth, really charismatic, like they know what's going on. But if you spend enough time with them, you might realize that they're not as put together as you might assume.
Okay.
And they're wearing like kind of like jazz formal or business casual kind of wear, more for like a party than a business meeting. But it's, black, and they're kind of dusting their jacket off and leaning against a tomb, lighting a cigarette and saying, this is not exactly what I was expecting when I came to the Big Easy.
Yeah, it never is. It's never easy.
Yeah. So did y'all? So we established that that Joe is a little wounded from the fight. Did the rest of you make it out unscathed, or are you nursing any wounds?
Well, my jacket certainly needs a new dry clean and pressed. That's what you're asking.
Yeah, and Joe does have like their hat, like their fanning very much looks like a fedora that has a couple of holes in it that just barely missed his head.
I think Amira is relatively unscathed. Her former wear is probably a bit ruffled as well, and she's probably very grumpy about this. And she's probably just stood there wiping blood off her hands.
Okay. What about Terrence?
I think Terrence probably has like a bump on the head before they were like, oh, right, I should turn on some cloaking shit.
Yeah. I think all that checks out rather. And from the shadows, you hear the voice of the now de facto leader of your organization. The voice, a familiar voice to the audience, and a familiar voice to you all. Voice of Mr. Tommy Lazarus. So you go, well, that was a little bit less than ideal, I do have to say. So he kind of readjust his black silk top hat. Well, I guess the question now is, how do we proceed, y'all? I think they probably presume that we are dead, so we probably have them at a disadvantage at the moment.
Well, there's a couple exit strategies we can go at this. Now, as like they're doing their cleanup, we could probably snag a vehicle or two and then be left in the lurch. But that one also allows for a quick detection. Most likely, we could try to just follow the river itself and try to find some opening outwards. We got a couple of options, but most that I can't think of aren't on the quiet and nice. I'm more of the big explosive exit that I got in mind. So I'm up for better options, but I'm here for the worst.
Why are we talking about exiting? We have them at a disadvantage. We need to strike, like you said.
Well, if that's your choice, but my expertise is in making a big noise and getting the hell out of Dodge. So, but much as like, You
We've come
saw.
too far for that. Now's the perfect time. They think we're dead, and we've got an ace in our pockets.
I think Sinatra kind of straightens up a little bit and looks over at the tomb that he's that they're leaning up against and say, "Is this Marie Laveau's tomb?"
If only we were lucky enough to grace her company. But tell you what I can do. And you see the skin of this dark-skinned kind of older man begin to shift and meld, and in just a moment before you is the visage of the corpse of Mary Laveau.
Oh, that's a nifty trick you got there. Anyway, not to interrupt. What were we talking about?
We're trying to decide how best to use our advantage to do a clean sweep, so to speak.
Okay, just to make sure I'm not confused, the advantage is that they think we're dead.
Indeed.
Do we have any other advantages?
We've got one more advantage that should be here in a short time. It appears their engagements for the evening are taking a little bit longer than we expected.
Well, again, I'm the expert here. Like, if you're going for strike, you might want to go with a big bang on someone that's not as strong, kind of like disconnect their information network. That would be where I would suggest a good point of attack. Don't know we exist, and we knock out any ways for them to find out we do exist.
Now you're talking some sense.
That doesn't sound too bad. But we gotta move quick. We only got just a little while before our deadline comes up, and I want to make sure we got a strong foothold in the city come Halloween.
Well, you guys are the trigger finger. I'm just the gun.
You seeing anything over there, Sinatra?
I can't say that I am at the moment. Not. Listen, I'm new here. I just rolled in off the boat, and all of a sudden I'm in a firefight, and you people are here, and Marie Laveau. So, I not sure. I'll defer to your judgment before I start inserting my own opinions.
And as you say that, your senses are assaulted with a whirlwind of smells. There's the ever-present scent of fresh dirt, the smell of incense from a church censer, the smell of wine, of human sweat and blood, of fire and gunpowder. And you
I shrug and say, "That's New Orleans."
yeah. Just as a heads up, Malkavians do have a premonition ability.
Right.
So that's you're getting a little glimpse into what the future is going to hold right there.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're the only one detecting this.
Well, I'd suggest we keep moving and talking. I think everyone's at least bandaged up enough to keep moving.
Very well. And Tommy looks to Maeve and goes, not Maeve, goodness, to Terrence and goes, "I'm dreadfully sorry to see what happened to your brother, Mr. Terrence," and looks to I forgot Natalie's new character's name.
Amira.
Amira, and looks to Amira and goes, "And it's never easy to lose a sire." but I I hope you'll think of me as a newfound father figure. Is the Big and Hungry still a secure location?
As far as I'm aware, and as far as my criminal contacts tell me, yes.
Very well. I'll inform our contact to meet us there. And you all drive through the city in a familiar blue pickup truck. One less passenger than it typically carried. The load a little lighter, but the memory of the recently deceased heavy in the air. It was a hard-fought battle, and one your group didn't walk away from without casualty. Yeah, and Mikey, oh my goodness, those overlays are killing me. Nat and Tawny, the character that was lost was Natalie's
Ezra?
sire. Yeah, it was, Ezra, who unfortunately met his end at the hands of Miranda earlier this evening.
Were we not supposed to have the same sire?
I think y'all were, and then I realized that y'all would be the same generation then. So I
Right.
changed some stuff around slightly to keep y'all in the same family.
I'm like Amira's uncle.
Yeah, like Amira's uncle, like, the weird nutty professor uncle.
The one that you kind of keep in the attic.
Inept uncle.
So is Joe the one that's driving, or are they in the back just making sure like no one's following us?
I don't know who's driving.
Like if no one else will, like Joe would, just so that way they're keeping eyes on the road.
I don't think Terrence knows how to drive. It's more of like a camel type person.
Yeah, Amira is used to being driven.
What's Sinatra's opinion on vehicles?
He doesn't mind drive, or he might be a he. It might be the fact that I'm I keep picturing Frank Sinatra.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't mind driving. They don't know the city that well because they're just new in town. But if somebody can give directions, then he doesn't mind driving.
All right, so I think it'll be Joe that's driving then.
Okay, do you want me to do a drive roll or streetwise roll?
Well, I unless you're actively being pursued,
Okay.
you don't really need to make drive rolls. It's assumed that your character will know how to, obey the speed limit and not flip the truck. But if you ever get into a pursuit scenario or a stunt driving scenario, that's when. Tilting it ever so slightly as the bookshelf opens and swings, revealing a door. Mikey, if you, Nat, if you were wondering earlier, what would have happened if you touched that book that caught your eye while you were invisible in the Big and Hungry, you now know.
Well, that seems a little cliche, don't you think?
Well, there's an advantage of cliche is most people don't expect that to be the case, because obviously who would be so cliche as to use a cliche? See, hide and play sign. They think within where people won't go, then you go.
and you all
Makes
go
sense.
down a short staircase into a what appears to be a fairly unassuming room in its construction, just concrete walls, but rich carpets are on the floor, tapestries depicting the great serpent Set eating the sun.
That's not
depict-
Set. That's Apophis.
Son of a bitch.
Well,
damn it.
not everyone knows, but again, like they
A
got
giant
the idea
serpent
right.
eating the sun. Whatever.
I got the concept right. Like, forgive them. Not everyone can be as knowledgeable about the world as you.
Terrence just sniffles and pushes his glasses back up his nose.
Yeah, and there's
Wow, you're so knowledgeable and such a nerd that you just actually the voice in the sky.
The voice in the sky was telling me it was Set, and the voice in the sky was incorrect.
Oh,
You're not
it's from the
wrong.
sky? I thought it was inside all of our heads.
I torture you. I have literally killed half the fucking party, and this is the moment that the players rebel? This is the moment? Really?
Well, we had the fun of death. Now we got to have the liberty to revive. Because, come on, we got to pop back in action.
Oh my god. You're killing me. Yeah, so you are in this definitely not well lit, very dimly lit. Given the ministry's lack of fondness for light and fire, very, very dimly lit kind of lounge, for lack of a better term. Gold ornaments on the wall, beautiful art, probably some knockoff, some authentic, and old leather-bound tomes scattered about the desk. What do y'all do?
Are all these tapestries important? Because, like, I could rip one off and help repair a hole if that's okay. Like, I can go with stuff instead if you got other options. I'm just asking here. So I got a hole here in my suit. It just doesn't look that good when there's a hole in your suit.
Don't touch my tapestries.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking first. Like,
Just buy a new suit.
I like this suit. It's an old suit. It fits me well. How often? Like, you see how big I am? Do you know how hard it is to find a suit that actually fits me?
Amira looks absolutely disgusted and will turn away and just pick up a book and start leafing through it.
What's the book that you pick up?
If there's anything about Set, she should have a look through that.
Okay. Yeah, it's just it's an old tome, definitely written in Latin. But we'll assume that our knowledgeable Setites, especially ones with a legal background, are at least a little familiar with Latin.
Oh, yes.
Sinatra, what are you up to?
I'm probably also kind of like browsing the tomes and like I might actually like run my hand over the books, but I'm more interested in the sound that my finger is making as it runs across the books than the actual books themselves. And I kind of get distracted by that and maybe start like tapping out a beat of some sort.
There's one book that definitely comes to that catches your eye or catches your hand real quick, and it seems to be bound where the rest are bound in leather. This is bound in the skin of a reptile, maybe a crocodile.
I pull it out and I flip it open in like a very smooth gesture, and now I'm leaning against the bookcase and kind of just flipping through it a little bit casually.
You read Greek?
Not yet.
Okay.
But I can identify the letters.
Yeah. It is a very archaic Greek script, and it is there's pictures and things, and it seems to be depicting rituals of some kind. But there is like lettering of some sort going on the edges of the pages. This is as much a work of art as it is a book.
Huh. Is there any kind of like insight I can gain from this, or from like there's like a hive mind almost, right?
Yeah. Are you going to tap into the Malkavian network?
Yeah. Can I do that
All right.
and see if
Yeah.
anybody?
Go ahead and make a wits and occult roll.
Okay.
This is going to be fun. I love the Malkavian Madness Network.
Imagine
I
in
know.
the background, like Joe is just annoying Lazarus, looking for something to fix their hole.
I think Lazarus will probably produce a bloodstained handkerchief and hand it to you.
Oh, thank you. And then just kind of like tries to kind of like sew that in, and then just kind of like pulls out kind of like a little Tide pen, trying to dab that.
All right. Okay. So you get a little bit of resonance from the network, and you could swear, like, yes, you cannot read this, but you could swear, like, as you go over, you feel an like you know, you kind of have a rough idea of how the sounds go, and as you speak it, you can almost hear this kind of nasally voice in your head go, "Oh well, this seems to be a treatise on blood rituals to enhance the harvest. Oh, this is fascinating. Oh, where are you getting this knowledge?"
The Big and Hungry.
Oh.
The basement, which is very strange because I don't think New Orleans has a lot of basements.
Oh, this is fascinating. This is fascinating. I could certainly classify my hunger for knowledge as big, and I am hungry. This is excellent. And it goes silent.
Can I pocket the book? Wait, do I know? Okay, do I know who's talking? Who I'm communicating with?
You have no idea.
Okay. I'm gonna pocket the book in case I can tap back into that person.
Is
Okay.
Joe being at least annoying enough to help as a distraction?
I'm gonna say probably not on Joe's end. I need you to make a larceny and dexterity roll, and I need R2 setites to make wits and awareness rolls.
Okay, you'll have to do that for me, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. I did forget. Okay, so 1 success for Kat, 3 successes for
Amira.
Yeah, you know what? Names, man. I'm so bad with names. It's gonna take me so long to figure out all y'all's new names. And let's go ahead and roll this for Tawny real quick. Oh, yep. Tawny is a very alert vampire. With wits. That's wits all the way at the bottom of the list. Smith. And that's going to be a... okay, yeah. So, both Terrence and Amira notice the book being pocketed.
Yeah, I feel like since the tapestries were already threatened, Terrence is just looking around like, no, you can't. No, bad. And the tapping on the books with all the finger oils, Terrence is very weird. Terrence is like, could I potentially interest you in some gloves, sir? Or madam.
I kind of look like shifty eyed, like, why?
Your fingers, they make oil, and then they fuck with the pages of the books, then they fuck with the spines of the books, and you can't pocket the book. It's here if you want to read it.
Do vampires really produce finger oils?
You pick up shit wherever you go, mister.
Put it back.
I think it's mix.
I'm gonna put the book back and just kind of cross my arms and lean against the bookshelf and so say like so why are we here?
Well, we're waiting for our guest.
Yeah, what he said.
I feel like Terrence gets rather close to Sinatra, and I'm feeling like Terrence is probably rather shorter than Sinatra, and just like leans in and is like, "Do you want to know what the book is about?"
No, it's not that important. It's fine. It's whatever. Let's wait for our guest here.
You do seem interested.
Sinatra, can I get you to make a wits and awareness roll for me?
Yep.
Or awareness and wits, rather. Oh,
That's
very good roll.
Cool.
You are aware that someone is looking through your eyes. You feel a second presence behind your head as there's no thoughts, but it's definitely related to the Madness Network.
Can I say like hello?
Sure.
Hello?
No response.
You've also been doing that too. Just talking to the air.
Well,
Telling
the air-
where we are.
Hey, the air is very important. It's important to include the air into the conversation.
What
Air
Joe
is
said. Why are you
Definitely
so
important.
why are you so discriminatory towards like air and dirt and other things that make up the earth?
Why
This
are
is a
you
very
so
important-
weird?
It's a very important planet that we live on. I've never lived on another planet before, and I don't know that I could.
Oh, he's cagey now.
Well, be careful now. Like, they're doing their best here. It's a situation where our tension, everything's tense. And I get, well, like, we haven't been the best of nights, so it maybe, like, just you take a moment. Like, they're doing their best, maybe ease up. Like, give them about a foot, inch, maybe that distance away, not be up in their personal bubble.
Well, he's touching. I found some of these books. Do you know that? I can, if they're interested, I could potentially tell them what they're about instead of them having to ask the air or touch everything.
Hey, everyone has their own way of learning. Just because it's a different way than you doesn't mean that you shouldn't be open to that.
I think I'm gonna just pick up a random book and say, "What's this one about?"
What's that book about, Egyptologist?
I gingerly take the book from Sinatra and I look at it and I say, "Oh, this one is my favorite book. It's about Egyptian magic and Egyptian magicians and their various rituals and their artifacts and the different ones that represent the different gods and what they do and you can have there's pictures of wands in this one that
Can
the
you
Egyptians
stop? I think
Yeah.
you're bringing the dawn.
Yeah. I think maybe we could use that hot air as a weapon later on, but not now.
Oh, now he wants to insult the air.
No, I'm not insulting the air. I'm going on the fact that, like, you got a lot of hot air that we could actually use to our advantage in a different situation, which isn't now.
Oh, if he wants to steal the books, he has interest in the books, and perhaps I can help him explore what interest he may have.
That might not be the best route to go. Right, Lazarus?
Well, I must admit I'm not the academic type, but if folks are interested in studying, that's hardly any concern of mine. And as he begins to speak, you see that he has taken on the visage of the mummy of King Tut, just wearing a black silk top hat.
Did you know that King Tut's family was cursed for trying to move away from the way of the gods in Egyptian magic? And that's why he died at such a young age. And his line ever since has been cursed to die at a young age.
Huh. Here I
Did you
was
know
thinking
that
it was
Frank
because of
Sinatra, not
incest.
Frank Sinatra? Did you know that King Tut's family did not wear top hats?
I thought the whole curse was a fungal thing. Wasn't really a curse, it's more fungus that infected people.
It's more of the law of probabilities with small gene pools, and you know, like selective breeding is not a thing we should do with humans.
I love this topic of conversation. It's very philosophical.
And
Sorry.
as y'all are having this conversation, you hear the bookshelf slide open once again.
Oh, thank God, there's an end to this.
About time.
And you see a figure walk down in a black suit, dark hair slicked back, starting to go salt and pepper at the front, sharply contrasting the rest of his kind of dark appearance. And before you stands Father Iago. Looks to Lazarus and nods, and looks to Sinatra and says, "Thank you for the ride earlier. That's much appreciated."
The rider.
The ride earlier. I like to get a little view of my surroundings before I make my way in.
Okay, I understand now. You're welcome, sir. Now, is it Iago like Gilbert Gottfried, or is it Iago like Shakespeare?
Like Shakespeare.
Okay. Because I was kind of expecting Gilbert Gottfried, to be honest.
Oh, okay, so correct me on the argument. I've heard it say Iago and Argo. Which is it? Like, I think it's one or the other.
I am Iago.
Okay, Iago. Thank you.
Can we get to the point?
That is exactly why I'm here. Now, the prince thinks this invasion has been successfully repelled. So, congratulations on that front. And I am obviously aware that it has not been repelled. But I'm looking for a change in management, as it were. And Mr. Lazarus and I go back a little ways. And I think the city could use some new leadership. So, everyone, what's the plan? How are we going to put the city under new management?
Well, sounds like we're going to hit some point of intelligence they might have. I don't know the intelligence in particular. Sounds like we're going to get rid of that so they're kept in the dark. Just keep thinking things are same without knowing any difference.
Well,
what's the Achilles heel here? Is it hubris? Is it...
the Achilles heel here is trust. The prince is young and puts a lot of trust in his advisors, Miss Graves and myself.
Yeah, someone named Iago, which should probably be a tip-off, honestly.
I never claimed to be the most subtle Malkavian.
Well, again, I'm just a gun. You all are the trigger.
What of this Graves individual? Can we use them?
She's the scourge. I'm afraid she's a little more muscle than brains. And she'll have to be dealt with more likely than not. But once she's out of the picture, the prince is no real threat.
Then we target her.
I think that's a pretty solid plan, but she's not the scourge for no reason.
Yeah, like I would consider that to be after we knock out the eyes. Might you want to go for the teeth?
Well, how about we all gather around and talk a little shop? And Lazarus walks over, still looking like King Tut, and tips his hat. He goes, "I think that is exactly what the doctor has ordered tonight. All right, let's get to planning." And that's where the camera's going to fade, and that's where we're going to call our session today. It's a short one, but we'll do a time jump between here and when the plan is going to be executed for our penultimate episode, and then we'll see what the fate of the city is in our final episode. So before we go, let's go back through. Let's go through our lovely cast here and get, for those of you that have played this game for a little while, or played the first part of this campaign. Let's get your who you are, who you were playing, who you are playing, what your favorite moment of playing your old character was, and what you're looking forward to exploring as this new character. And we're going to start with Tawny.
Aww. My name is Tawny. I am at Manic Horse on Twitter. Again, don't at me. I'm never there. I played Maeve, and I definitely don't think I used enough of her stuff or anything, because I feel like didn't really get money's worth out of Maeve, but at least she didn't die. So my favorite part playing as Maeve, I think, was just trying to advocate for everybody and always having it go extremely poorly. And then I'm gonna be playing Terrence for the rest of our time. I think we only have like 2 full sessions left.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to enjoy playing him. I'm kind of getting goon vibes from like Titan AE, and I think I want to play as that. Sounds like fun. To start channeling my inner John Leguizamo.
Excellent. Yeah, okay. And next is going to be Michael.
Hello there. I have played Tabitha, and from ruin, and like a phoenix, will always rise.
Unlike Talon Phoenix, who will not rise from the ashes.
Again, like, I feel bad about that, but again, it was the only way out, and Tabitha would never betray the lady knowingly and would do anything for them, and that includes their best friend. So, sucks, but that's what happens when you got a sire. Their importance are more than yours. I will be playing Junkyard Joe, who, if you've seen Megalobox, the main character, or Gearless Joe, that's pretty much the look and character. Like, big bruiser, might be more weapons based, roughly here to kind of like save people, and might even think take on the Surge? Maybe. What was the question for today?
What are you the audience question was, what was your favorite part of the campaign?
Ideally, when everything went wrong. Like, that was more of the fun, was, especially with Tab, was every time things did not go as planned. Oh, you think you're going to prank these guys and it'd be funny. Oh, no, it's much more chaotic. Oh, you think you're going to just get away talking with them and distract them. Oh, no, you're in a car. Like, every time something went wrong, it went wrong in the best way possible.
Excellent. Anything else you'd like to add, Michael?
Oh, remember, we're all in this together. I'm pulling for you. Thank you for reminding me.
No problem. And Nat.
Hello, I'm Nat. I am a internet lurker. I don't really have a presence. You can find me on the Block Hover Discord, however. I was playing Mikey, the sneaky Nosferatu. Best part, I think, was, again, the point where it went wrong. I think it was true to character. Mikey would not have let that slide. He had to go and stop the jet madness. So I have no regrets about completely derailing the campaign because it had to happen. It would have been right for Mikey if he did. He just sat by and did nothing. I am now playing Amira. I'm looking forward to playing a bit of a polar opposite to Mikey in that she's very much a social character, very out there and quite ruthless, which I think has kind of come through. So yeah, very much looking forward to that.
I'm curious. Did Mikey ever deliver that game?
Oh yeah, he definitely would have. I think scuttled off, and yeah, he likes to repay his favors. So yeah,
All right.
he would have.
I'm sure Shin is very appreciative. All right, and our new cast member, Kat. Who are you? You didn't really get a whole lot of action in this session, so it's okay if you didn't have a favorite part. But if you did, that would be nice to hear. And what are you looking to explore as Sinatra?
So I'm Kat N. Schrodinger, or Kat named Schrodinger, or Kat _ named _ Schrodinger in Twitch. You can find me here now for the next couple weeks for the rest of this campaign. Mondays, Empires and Epitaphs, and Fridays, Where Things Go South. I'm really kind of I'm just kind of excited to join this because everything about this is new. I've never played the system before. I've never played. I'm jumping in the middle of a campaign in progress, which is kind of interesting and fun. And I kind of I'm coming in with no background, so I kind of liked the being able to play that for real. And I think I might actually do some research and rewatch old episodes and stuff like that and see what's going on and how I fit into this world. And I'm actually kind of interested to find out that one of the first people I meet is also Malkavian. So
yeah,
and he seems like he's on our side, or at least hiring us. So that'll be helpful.
Yeah. This is or for those who tuned in yesterday, this is a real different game from Empires and Epitaphs. That's a lot more lighthearted D&D shenanigans.
I'm not throwing dicks all over everything. My character actually has to do stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm out to hurt y'all in this game.
Why not both? That seems to be what happened with Tabitha.
Yep, and Tabitha didn't die, and I'm gonna carry that regret to my grave.
As an Easter egg, I'll draw a little dick in the dust of the library that we're in right now.
Oh, you assume there's dust.
I do assume that there's dust.
I don't know, Sethites, would there be dust in y'all's study?
No, there would be absolutely no dust. Any dust would be exterminated.
Not
I will
dealt
find
with
the
prejudice.
dust.
There's definitely dust in the restaurant, but
okay.
The Big Easy is. I don't think I mentioned it, but the Big Easy is a hookah lounge.
The Big and Hungry.
Big and Hungry, yeah. The Big and Hungry is a hookah lounge. Thank you for the correction. Other voice in the sky, who has no facial presence on the screen.
No facial presence.
There's a joke in there.
Shut the fuck up.
If you look a little bit.
No, the GM will never shut up.
I know.
Okay.
Okay.
I've been trying to get him to for about 2 months now.
Yeah, it hasn't gone well. Quarantine didn't do me any favors. Okay, so with that, I'm Zan. Thank y'all for hanging in there and going on this wild ride with us. When this campaign started, I did not plan on doing two perspectives on the campaign, but hey, that's the way the dice roll, and you gotta tell the story the way it's the way the players write it. So that's what we're doing. And if y'all want to catch me, you can catch me later today at on Water. On Fridays, I'm over on Brambleberry Games with a Curse of Strahd remix. The weekends, I usually live over on Polished Cryptid's channel, and then Mondays, as we mentioned, I'm on Empire. I run Empires and Epitaphs, and I tend to pop up here and there sporadically, doing the odd game. Uh, when the opportunity arises. I'm a pretty hungry DM. So yeah, thank y'all so much for hanging in there and for watching. If y'all need to get in contact with me, you can find me on the Black Feather Discord or on my website, insanitygaming.com, or below at Insanity TTRPG on Twitter. Yeah. So Raven, did we find anyone to raid? Okay, excellent. All right, so I will hand it over to you then, Raven. Thank y'all so much for stopping by and watching.
All right, yeah, thank you all so much. That was great. Very, very suspenseful and intense and everything there with what happened to the original vampires. And some really interesting stuff after that, so that was a lot of fun to watch. Thank you again to everybody that watched. Thanks to Patrick for the raid. And thanks, of course, to players and Zan for running that. Yeah, you can find us again here in about 3.5 hours for Water. It's a survival game, kind of like Subnautica or even Minecraft or Green Hell, any of those survival-based builder video games. But I've basically made it into a tabletop. So this is going to be pretty fun. We left on a pretty tense note last week. Some pretty interesting things happening for sure. Yeah, we're going to go on a raid. We've got a raid cry there in chat. Also, before we run, quick note about sponsors. Fundamental RPG, which consequently is the game that we're going to be, or the system that we're going to be running for the game tonight. And then Grinding Coffee Company. The information is there in chat to get 13% off your order. And it's really good coffee. And with that, we're going to go raid Kingdom Kate on the recommendation from Michael. So definitely go say hello and give them a follow. We'll see you here in about 3.5 hours. Bye, everybody.